You probably clicked this link because you don't trust the stock market. You know that it's manipulated. You know it's rigged for the big banks. You know that you can be financially inoculated with everything that's going on. And the reason why you're here is because you might have some FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Fearful because you don't know what's going on. Uncertainty because there's no one to talk to. And doubtful because there's no plan on what is about to come. But one thing, when it comes to retirement planning, if you don't have a game plan for whatever it is about to come, then you are not prepared. It's time for you to protect your money outside of buying gold and silver. This is going to be the best thing because you're protected by contract law. Completely different animal, guys. Again, Carlos Cortez here. Hope I can hear from you. And let's just have a conversation to see if this strategy works for you.
Back. What am I supposed to just say? Hey, great job? All right, anyway. Okay, Peter writes, should I be worried about Bear Stearns in terms of liquidity and get my money out of there? No. Bear Stearns is fine. Do not take your money out. This is real. Look, if there's one takeaway other than the plus 400 somebody, Bear Stearns is not in trouble. I mean, if anything, they're more likely to be taken over. Don't move your money from Bear. That's just being silly. Don't be silly. Bear money's back after the break.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for Stop Trading. Jim Cramer is here. Jim, lot to talk about today. Bear Stearns first. And I know you and I were just talking in the commercial about this letter that you got. It said, Dear Jim, should I be worried about Bear Stearns in terms of liquidity and get my money out of there? That was from Peter. That was a question to you about a week ago. You replied, no, Bear Stearns is not in trouble. If anything, they're more likely to be taken over. You were right about that. Well, don't move your money from Bear. Maybe you weren't right about that.
No,
what do you have to say?
Look, let's understand two things. I said the common stock was worthless on Friday, as soon as the thing was at 36, because we then saw a look at the bonds. If you kept your money at Bear, you made out. You got the liquidity. I mean, look, keeping money at Bear was I guess I could have caused a run on the bank and say, take your money out of Bear. MicroStrategy, okay, look, I say if you want to own Bitcoin, own Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin. You should own Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a great thing to have in your portfolio.
But it's just demonstrable. It's just true.
It's true.
So, and it endures even in this hyper-technical age. I would say one more thing about gold that I find fascinating is that it is the most private of all currencies. So the great lie of my lifetime is that crypto was going to be private and was going to free us from, surveillance and control. And that is just not proven true. And no one's really tried hard to make it true, which tells you a lot about how much people lie and what the real agenda is, which is control. But gold can actually be moved around privately and stored privately. I mean, there's not a digital record of gold.
Yeah. Can you just talk to us? Are you still a no? Is there anything?
They convinced me in there. I'm a no.
Is there anything?
Look let me their own numbers. If the Republican plan passes under the rosiest assumptions, which aren't even true, we're going to add $328 billion to the deficit this year. We're going to add $295 billion to the deficit the year after that, and $242 billion to the deficit after that, under the rosiest assumptions. Why would I vote for that?
So are you solidly a no?
Yeah, they convinced me. I was a lean no until this meeting. Now I'm a no.
This no confirmed.
This is a no.
Why? Why?
They're talking points. Look. These are not something I made up. This is the leadership's talking points. It adds $328 billion to the deficit. It adds $295 billion to the deficit the year after that. The only way they get to this magic thing where it's not going to kill our country is 5 years from now, they imagine that 2.5% growth accumulates, and that even right here they say they're going to cap discretionary spending. You think we're going to cap discretionary spending and then spend at the rate of inflation after that? That has never happened. So their assumptions are wrong, but even if you take their assumptions at face value, they told us in there they're going to increase the deficit in 2025 by $328 billion. And I've been here long enough. I've been here 12 years, so I've seen a 10-year plan or two come all the way to 10 years. Under Boehner, we had these 10-year plans. Under Ryan, we had these 10-year plans. Anything past the third year never happens.
Are you planning to move tonight, today?
That's the plan.
In your arena?
We're about to do a press conference.
Guys, take a pass.
You will pass today. What was your message?
We're moving the same steps.
How are the votes looking? What's that?
We're working.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Scriptures and Wall Street. I'm your host, Carlos Cortez. And look, if you're just tuning in for the first time, want to say thank you for watching us for, now 4 years now. We've gotten a lot of emails recently, particularly about Rachel. I'll give you an update on her and about, some of the ETFs that we spoke about recently, market scenarios, and also our safe money strategies. We're talking about the QQQs on basically getting over 100% participation rate on those. But when we have this environment, man, it's almost fun. Like the market's crashing. We spoke about this like how long now? XPS, TMF, VIXY, SQQQ. We Bitcoin, we spoke about all these things going down, and to see it actually happening in the forefront is kind of satisfying. I mean, no pun intended. I know your 401k, if you haven't become a client or if you haven't done anything, then you're crying. You're crying right now. You're hurting. And it's just, it's biblical. It's biblical. My people suffer from a lack of knowledge, and I can't get this podcast out to the whole world. However, knowledge is power, as we know, and it's a biblical concept. And that's all we want to talk about is just knowledge. And let me say my disclosure here for anyone listening right now. I am a financial advisor. However, everything on this podcast is meant for education and information purposes only. This is not investment advice. If you would like investment advice, give us a call, 813-448-3446. We can look at your portfolios. We can see your risk reward scenarios. We can ask your standard deviations. We can actually see what your risk score is, and more importantly, what your drawdown, your stress test going into this market correction that we're evidently in. I mean, you can't say we're not. Like, the market's going down. Bitcoin is just taking a massive dump. I got so much heat for saying that Bitcoin was going to go down. So much heat. And where is it at right now? Let me pull it up. Let's pull it up real quick, guys. Actually, I'm gonna just go to my charts. I mean, how cool is that? I don't even have to go to Yahoo Finance or whatever woke media. Just go to my charts. Whew. So yeah, let's just go right to the charts. I'm loving this. So here we are. Here's Bitcoin. I told you guys back in February 18th, the week of that podcast, I told you, go back and check it out. So Bitcoin is going to go down. We got a death cross here. And what did happen? Exactly what we spoke. It went all the way down to 85. It kissed it and came back up. Right now it's trading at 88. This is serious, man. Like, we are seeing a massive meltdown here in Bitcoin. I think it's kissing it here. We have nothing but red long-term momentum, short-term momentum, and midterm momentum. Red traffic lights, the momentum, the selling pressure is off the charts. We could see 75 levels here. We could be back in this last support resistance at around 76,308. That to me is going to be the next zone, around 76 to 68. Huge impulsive. And the reason why I look at the zone is you see the small little calendar. This candle. I said calendar. I got tongue twister there. The small little candlestick, and then this massive breakout. There was a lot of momentum right here that it just shot up from 76 all the way up to 88. Holy smokes. So much momentum. We're seeing the same thing here. Small candle, massive explosion down, and it could, I mean, the average range, honestly, from 68 to 89, that's 20,000. I mean, 19,000 points it went down. So 94, 84, 74. Yeah, we could be, I like this zone here around the 70, around 76. I mean, that's where I'm looking at. I could be wrong, but I wasn't wrong about Bitcoin going down. And when everyone thought, oh, yeah, it's massive, we got a buy signal, let's go ahead and buy it, blah, blah, blah. And it started weakening here. And then all my traffic lights started turning red. And I said, you know what? This thing is going to go down. It literally is going to go for a meltdown. And here we are. It kissed 85. I just went on Stu's show today saying it was going to go to 85, and it actually did. Holy smokes. Let me go to my 1 hour here. Yeah, this thing hit 85 around, around 5 a.m. Today. Dag. Man, this thing is 85,936. 85, 86, 257. Wow, this thing really went down. So yeah, a sea of blood just melting. And I think it's going to continue. I mean, this is a freight train. How much power, how much buying does it take to come back up here? I mean, this is a massive market meltdown. So if you're buying Bitcoin, I would hold off. Of course, it's not investment advice, for education purposes only. But yeah, it's right there. That Bitcoin is getting slammed. Speaking of, let's talk about some other things that we been exposing here. And if you've been a fan of our monologue show, Scriptures in Wall Street, you know that I've been a big fan of who? VIXY. Anytime the market does anything crazy, VIX, the volatility index, so to speak, is going to go bonkers. So we discussed this last week. I said, hey, this will be a good time to get into something like this. And then boom, it shot up. It was around the 20, it was around, it was around last week. So that would have been, yeah, it would have been around a death cross. And we had a blue cross. That's what it was. It was on a 21st. And a blue cross formed. And then boom, it shot up all green. And then we got a golden cross. And once we get that golden cross where that 50-day hits that 200-day moving average, it just goes bonkers. And so that's what's been going on. Of course, the VIX, you can't buy the VIX. So the ETF that tracks the volatility index is going to be called VIXY. And so we got green bars here. This thing is still going up. Massive momentum going up. If you guys remember, this actual ETF shot up in like a lot. I'm talking about like Bitcoin prices. What was it, like 14,000 a share it went? Yeah, it was just nuts. I can't even zoom in that high. Like VIXY it really went back there a long time ago. Of course, it was. If I can scrunch this. Oh, let me go to the weekly. Trying to zoom out, and it's very difficult because this thing literally went up to, what was it? Jeez. No way. Yeah, it went up past 20,000. So, I mean, look at this thing. It's just massive. Just massive. Now I have to like reset my chart. It literally is off the charts. I can't even zoom in that far how high it went. But right now it's at 43, still a great price. You get buy the call options at any spot, maybe 100. And this thing will start cooking pretty soon. It already is. We're starting to get some noise. You see how quickly this thing shot up from 39 all the way up to 89. Look at that sucker, man. Woo! You could have sold out here. Of course, this is for people that like to trade. This is not a long-term solution unless you think the U.S. economy and the volatility index is going to go to hell in a handbasket, which, I mean, at this point, who knows? Of course, our my heart is always going to be with America. But we have to take care of our own guys. Like, just because we have a conservative back in office doesn't mean everything is going to be honky dory. We got to watch our six, especially now more than ever. We got a lot of tariff situations. We don't even know what the taxes are going to be. What if Trump does get rid of taxation? What does consumption tax look like? DeSantis here in Florida says that he wants to get rid of he just wants to get rid of toll roads and all these taxes here, property taxes, and only have a sales tax, a consumption tax, which would make a lot of sense, but it will be doubled. So if you buy for every dollar you spend, you're not paying 8 or 9%, you're paying 18%. So you'll have a headwind there. The tariffs, it's going to have a negative short-term reaction. We are going to pay a lot of money for cocoa and commodities and pork bellies and just pretty much everything. Everything's going to go up. This is why they're going to smash those interest rates. Speaking which, the other trade of the year last year, and I told you guys it would take a year to form. Told you guys that it would take a year to form. Let's see if I can erase my drawings here. Yep. Is TMF. Now, this is going to be three times a 20-year treasury. So right now, it did pop up to 62. I bought it around 60. I was happy at 60 to buy it. But then it smashed down all the way to like 35, 36, 38. Right now, we are at 45. So great buying opportunity all over the place. You could buy the 100 strike prices on the option or simply buy the hold the ETF. This will probably go to 400. Ideally, we just want it to go past 100 so we can hit your strike prices, but I think we could hit a 250 mark and it will be a good 4 times. It could be a good 4 or 5 times X your money. Of course, this is a risky trade. This is 3 times a 20-year treasury. This is not meant for anybody that wants to lose money, especially if you're buying the options. But the TMF is going to do well when the stock market crashes. Because why? People go to treasuries when they sense urgency, when they sense pain, when they seek safety. They go to treasuries, that the 2-year, the 5-year, 10-year. They simply just go to treasuries, even a 20-year. And that's what this is. This is a 20-year treasury, which is the most common treasury out there. And those prices are coming back up once all the buyers come back in. You see, they've been going out of the treasury market because they want to get in the stock market, in the QQQs and the NVIDIAs and the Teslas, which is getting smoked right now. Anything tech is getting smoked. So it's a seesaw effect with the big banks and the miners and the retail investors. You just got to be careful. But what I'm telling you is that there will be a market crash. It may be now. Who knows? Right now, everything is normal according to my charts. But as you know, there's signs and also reality before my alerts start kicking off. And yeah, we are in this market meltdown. Pre-market meltdown that you just got to be careful with. And I don't know what you guys are doing. Like, I don't know if you have mutual funds. I don't know if you have stocks or maybe you have QQQs. You're going to be hurting right now. One thing, whether you realize it or not, is there's something called SQQQ, which is you make money off the NASDAQ when it goes down. So we got a death cross here back in February. This is short the NASDAQ, which is dangerous, by the way, but great for someone that has a lot of money in tech. This is betting against tech, hoping that it's going to go down. Now, SQQQ is trading at 30. 30.44. You see these green bars here? We are starting to see this thing turn over. So once it turns over, this thing will bing. I mean, it could go to 250. That will be bad news for anyone that has a QQQs. More importantly, it'll be bad news for anyone that has a 401k that is heavily, heavily in mutual funds. This is the Magnificent Seven. And if tech is going to get murdered, then this is going to be the number one index that you would want to invest in if the tech and NASDAQ crash. Now, of course, for those of you that are in my NASDAQ insurance-based contract, you're loving this. You want the NASDAQ to go down because it will come right back up and you make all of that profit in a retirement account, in a safe money bucket. It would just be amazing for you. So yeah, look at SQQQ. You can do your own research on it. This puppy was over 5,000 at one point. I'm sorry, over 8,000. Actually, it was even higher. Guys, these ETFs, these leverage ETFs are no joke. I mean, I couldn't have purchased this at 100,000. No stinking way. So this could be a gold mine for somebody. Extremely, extremely, extremely high. 15 years ago. Don't know if you got to wait that long, but this could be a massive, massive opportunity for somebody that wants to grow their asset and doesn't mind taking some serious risk here. So very, very priced in, $30 right now. The upside is just substantial. Again, off the charts. Let me reset my chart here. But I really like this play. I don't know how high it's going to go. I don't know if there was a reverse split back, 10 years ago, if the ETF just came out and they priced it at 40,000, and then it just drew down to, 8,000, 7,000, then 1,000 and 500. Now it's at 40. The ETFs are pretty new in the past 20 plus years. So who knows when it first came out, like the pricing on it, very similar to an IPO, that the pricing was off. However, I do know that this is going to go up. Of course, I can't say that I can't be promissory. It is risky, but I believe that based on the mathematics, based on the formations, the patterns, all the leading indicators shows that we are going to see some upside. Again, not investment advice. Saying not investment advice. Do not call my office. Say, hey, I lost money on VIXY. I lost money on TMF. I lost money on this because I told you not to buy it. I'm just saying this for education, information purposes only, guys. So if you get my drift, choose wisely and invest at your own risk. Now, if you need help, more than happy to help. You can give us a call, 813-448-3446. We got a lot of six-figure setups like this. TMF, SQQQ. There's a VIXY, which we just spoke of. Also, for those of you that like watching the S&P 500, I got a little few bucks in here. Nothing too crazy, but this is a fun one here. This is XPXS. Right now, we're at 709. And again, it's turning green as well, just like the Qs, the SQQQs, just like TMF, just like VIXY. We are turning green. You see the little green light of hope? So when this goes up, that means the S&P 500 is doing bad. It's going down. Now, we had a rally at the end of business today. Let me see here. We had a little rally. Yep. We closed today. Let me pull up XPX, actually. So yeah, here's the S&P 500. We had some momentum going up and it went down a little bit. This is on a weekly. Let's show the daily. Let me erase my drawings here, guys. So we had a little dip. Let me bust out the 4-hour. So we had a little dip today on a 4-hour. And then it kind of rallied back up, this candle. But this is nothing but setting up for tomorrow. So this is a 4 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour look. Oh, we got a death cross. Today we got a death cross. Yes, sir. Deja vu. The last time I said we got a death cross was on VIXY last week. We just got a death cross today on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour, I'm sorry, on a 1 hour chart. Oh, shucks. Melt, baby, melt. This thing is going for the cleaners, my guys. This thing is about to take a dump. I got all my indicators turning red. Let me check the 30-minute. Oh, yeah. 1 hour, 30-minute. Even if I wanted to day trade this thing, I got a death cross on a 2-minute. Joke smoking. Hey, bro. Woo. Yeah. Yeah, this is serious right now, guys. 30 minutes, 1 hour. If you got money in the market, you better seek shelter or buy a hedge. Buy SPSX, buy something that makes some money when the market goes down. Because we are headed down, baby. And I'm not worried about it. My clients aren't worried about it. We trade these things. We have safe money in place. We call it when we call it. And we find opportunities to make money in all market cycles, sideways, up, or down. Unfortunately, most people, they only have mutual funds. They only have stocks. They only make money when the market goes up. That is only 33% of the time, 34% of the time, however you do the math. So you only make money when the market goes down. Imagine going to the casino here in Tampa, Hard Rock Casino, and say, hey, guys, we got $1,000 to all play. We all decide we're going to play, I don't know, blackjack. And I told you, okay, so the odds is only 30%. Would you even play that game? Maybe 34%. Would you even play that game? Maybe it was 40%. Maybe it was 50%. Would you even play that game? But historically, the market's gone up 74% of the time. But out of that 74% that it does go up, you're only going to win 34% of the time. Even though we know the momentum, 74% of the time is going to go up. We're only going to win 30+%. That's it. Would you play that game? Many of you are playing that game in your 401k and IRAs. You only make money when the market goes up. So you're checking your accounts. You're hoping this thing will continue to go up. Do you have a current source other than Scriptures and Wall Street where you can get information to tell your advisor, or your advisor telling you, does he have these tools to say, look, man, the market's actually going down. I need to get out of Dodge. I need to go to Treasuries. I need to buy TMF. I need to maybe buy SPXS. I need a hedge. Maybe I just need some green money solutions. Maybe I need to protect my principal. As a matter of fact, I'm 65 years old. I can't afford to lose. Look, if you lost money, let me show you. If you lost money in 2008, it took you, 2008 was here, right? It took you, and we were at 1525. Took you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Took you 6 years to get your money back. Took you 6 years. In 01, 2001, melted. We were at, before the death cross in 2001, we were at 1549. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not even quite yet. There's 7. It took you 7 years to even break even. Like, who has 5 to 7 years in their retirement to get their money back? This is serious, man. Like, look at the momentum we had here. If you just pan out, let's just pan out. This thing has just gone up like crazy, the S&P 500. Death cross here. Rose really high. Do you really think this thing is going to continue to skyrocket? The natural cycle, not even bringing politics, not even bringing your ideological views, whether they're right or wrong, just taking it at face value. We know that momentum eventually will go down. And when it does go down, they go down hard. So we're in that 24-month, 25-month bull cycle that is starting to weaken. And we got to be extremely careful because right now believe it or not, we're in a sideways market right here. That's on a weekly. I'm going to zoom in on a daily. We're in a sideways market here, guys. So it's gone up, it's gone back up. We're at these support and resistance levels, these zone levels. 4 hours kind of like irrelevant right now. But yeah, on a daily, you'll see that we're just in a sideways pattern right now. And it's starting to turn over. I'm getting red. We haven't had red on short, mid, and long term at all. Actually, in April, we had a little scare. We had some in August 23, and you guys remember that. That was a really big scare. And the markets went down heavily. S&P went 4,500 all the way down to 42. So we lost 300 points, a good 9%. And it's going to get choppy. So as you know, volatility index, the fear and greed index, we're at a 19, guys. That's when stuff happens. When we start going into this high volatility index, that's when things happen. And so we got a gold cross here and a buy signal today on the VIX. Holy smoke. So we got a buy signal on the VIX. We got a death cross forming on the S&P 500. How much clearer is that? I can't get more clear than that. This is obviously a midweek update. And it's crucial because people need to understand that if you're in the stock market, you are going to get hurt, my friend. You are going to get hurt if there's no downside protection. So what do we do? Well, there's a few things we can do. You could buy, we can buy some red money investments. That would be your TMFs. That would be your SQQQ. That would be your SPSX if you're trying to make money on the market downward spiral. Or we can simply buy a green money account. In our green money accounts, we put money away where we follow the S&P 500, where we follow the TQQQs without any losses. So here's a QQQ right now. We can get 130% of this index. Literally. Every 24 months, we can get our gains locked in. So if we had it right here, and the QQQs were at 466, and right now, 2 years later, well, that's 24. Actually, I would have to go back further. Yeah, the Nasdaq does very well, by the way. It also loses a lot. So yeah, let's just say in March of 23, the Nasdaq was around, or the QQQs were 289. Your interest would be 100%. We're at 525. Your interest would be well over 100%. And those gains will get locked in. It doesn't matter if the market goes down. The only thing you lose is possible interest, but you'd never lose your principal with no fees. So we would have the ability to protect your money if the stock market goes down, if the Qs go down, if the S&P 500 goes down. You have the ability to protect your principal. That's the most important part about all this, is that it doesn't matter if you have a Roth, a simple account, a non-qualified account. Maybe you're like my grandmother who kept money underneath the mattress with a German Shepherd. She knew nothing. She barely spoke English, but she didn't trust the banks. She did not trust the banks. So she was smart in her own way, right? But she lost to what? Inflation. And so inflation is pretty high right now. I mean, we're going to see probably interest rates rise or being jacked up. They're definitely getting jacked up. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen like what's going on with realtors right now. There's more realtors leaving the retail side of things more than you can imagine. So I'm praying for the realtors because people can't get mortgages right now. They just can't. It's like the wages are down, credit scores are down, credit card debts are just massive. Expenses are massive. The wages are not keeping up. 401k withdrawals are all-time high. Cars are being repossessed. Mortgage defaults are high. Construction permits have been lowered. I mean, we have all the leading indicators of a massive recession. But yet, there's people that say, oh, yeah, Trump's going to fix it all. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it in 4 years, guys. We have so much mess and junk that is on right now. The one thing you have to do is protect your money, regardless if we're voting and rooting for Trump, regardless if you're a patriot, if you believe in the almighty dollar. It doesn't matter, guys. You're responsible for your household. You're responsible for your retirement. And what I'm telling you here, mathematically and quantitatively speaking, is that the formations they're showing up for it to be a disaster. And I'm not here to fearmonger because I always back everything up with data. You guys know one thing, I am not going to fearmonger and I'm not going to show hate. I'm not going to do all that. I don't get involved in any of that. I just want to tell you how it is. Let's look at the dollar real quick. Dollar shot up when Trump got in. I don't know if you saw that, and now it's coming down. We got a death cross warning. So we might see a dollar correction right now. The bricks are fighting against it, and we're starting to see some glimpse there. Actually, I don't like that index. Let me go to another one here. Okay, so here's the dollar. We know that when Trump got in, when he was supposed to get in, it just shot up like crazy back in, let's see here, January. Yeah, right here, it shot up. And then obviously with the BRICS conversation, the dollar has been weakening from 107 to 106, just slightly. And we're in this little pattern. I'm going to show you the weeklies, actually. We're in this little pattern of, we're seeing the Red Sea here, a little tip. So we had a bull rush here back in November, anticipating Trump's win. Dollar was getting strong again. Actually, it's very strong right now. And we're starting to see a pattern here where it's headed down. We have momentum turning red. So be careful with, if you're traveling right now internationally, go ahead and get those dollars worth because it's at an all-time high versus the euro. So I can show you USD versus euro for those of you that are traveling. You probably clicked this link because you don't trust the stock market. You know that it's manipulated. You know it's rigged for the big banks. You know that you can be financially inoculated with everything that's going on. And the reason why you're here is because you might have some FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Fearful because you don't know what's going on. Uncertainty because there's no one to talk to. And doubtful because there's no plan on what is about to come. But one thing, when it comes to retirement planning, if you don't have a game plan for whatever is about to come, then you are not prepared. It's time for you to protect your money outside of buying gold and silver. This is going to be the best thing because you're protected by contract law. Completely different animal, guys. Again, Carlos Cortez here. Hope I can hear from you. And let's just have a conversation to see if this strategy works for you. Okay, so this is against the euro. So yeah, we've gotten some huge traction. So our dollar is going to be worth their 95 cents. We're almost at parity, which is incredible. So we're almost at parity. So it wouldn't be too expensive to go to Europe. Whereas I'm used to, when I travel to Europe, I mean, you're going to lose 20% of your dollar to their dollar. But right now, it's only about 5% difference, which is pretty amazing. So if I don't know if you're traveling to Europe, for those of you that are, I wouldn't be traveling anywhere if I was you, but hey, that's the information I'm given. So yeah, this is the QQQs. I think we already spoke about that. I got a death cross here, so it's going to go down a little more, but now it's popping up. TMF, one of my babies. Oh, one thing I did want to talk about is, yep, TMF still going down, but look all this green. Woo, the green is coming out. So that means it's turning. It's hitting that bottom and it's coming right back up. For those of you that like the New World Order stock of Tesla, this thing is about to take a dump. This thing is about to take a dump. The reason why I talk about Tesla, I don't talk about stocks much, but this one I like to follow. It's going up, but man, we got a gold cross and it just went up, but now it's just being exhausted. All red, and it took a dump. I said it would take a dump, and it did last week. Went from 390 to 350. I mean, we could see 307 on this bad boy. So for those of you that like the risk play, you also have TSLL. And same deal, same pattern. It was as high as 26 and it went all the way down to 21. We could see another 1837, maybe even lower, 1790, somewhere around there. Just a huge volatile ETF there. But all right, that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to share that with you. Oh, and also, one thing that I'm a big fan of is just having consistent returns. So if you haven't had consistent returns, one of the things that I would say is get you some consistent returns. All right. So one way we can get consistent returns is through a transition index. Now, this index is pretty powerful, where we simply, yeah, so these returns are powerful, guys, because what I love about this rotator index is that it's actually been live since 2002, but we have verified, not projected, verified returns, 24.5% the first full year in 03, 04, 17, 05, 5%, in 06, 12%, a 9%. Every red you see, we have a zero. Since this is an insurance-based contract and Green Money Solutions, all the reds, you can count them with one hand, we've had over the past 26 years are zeros. So following the negative year, you'll see the sequential years a lot better. 13, a 20, an 8, a 9, a 21, a 30, a 0, an 8, a 40% when Trump got in. First full year, 2017. After Trump got in, 40%, a 0, a 34.26, 28.84, and a 25. 2022, y'all know what went down that year. Basically a 0, a 19%, a 2% last year, and we're up 1%. The reason why this thing does extremely well, because it has ability to go to treasuries. It has ability to go to commodities. So when commodities are high, cocoa plants or pork belly, sugar, coffee, doesn't matter. You have this index has ability to take advantage of those commodities. But a lot of times technology and healthcare takes off, so the NASDAQ does well. So it can go to QQQs. It can go to SPY, which is S&P 500. And it has 4 sectors. It can basically transition into the sleeve that is suitable for the index. If it feels like it's being threatened, it can go commodities and treasuries. If it feels like we need to have more equity, then it can go NASDAQ and S&P 500. This constantly rotates every single day, And we have the ability to own this index if you go to greenmoneysolutions.com or give us a call at 813-448-3446. It takes 5-10 minutes to do a call to make sure this account is designed for you, see if you qualify for it, so to speak. And if so, now we can talk. We can talk about different styles of green money solutions, like the QQQs. Am I right for that? Or should I be more consistent with these returns and have a backstop inside of a backstop, which it does. So we have one that is full raw, the NASDAQ, and fully raw, like a volatility control where it can shift and pivot every single day. And you don't have to do this. This is meant for 401k money. This is meant for IRA money. 401k is that you've left your employer. Maybe you got fired. Maybe you got rehired in the same company, but your 401k is now eligible for rollover. You can roll this in. You might as well secure it. There's no fees. There's actual no annual fees with these companies, and it's all pure growth. So very powerful stuff here. Going into 2025, you're going to need some volatility control. You're going to need some protection, guys. I'm telling you, the sea of red I just showed you from a trader standpoint, by the way. I do like to trade personally, which I feel makes me a better financial advisor, because most financial advisors, they don't trade. They don't know patterns. They don't know anything about trading. They're there to sell you certain products. And don't get me wrong, I make a commission when I sell a certain product. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's suitable for the client. But what I'm passionate about is making sure that your money is getting the lion's share of what is possible, to protect your money, to grow your money so that you have a great experience and that your account can grow regardless of what happens with the economy. So with that being said, if you don't have these returns working for you, if you've never seen these returns, then give my office a call. It's not that hard. Give us a call. You can call us 813-448-3446. Visit us at cortezwm.com. And also, I have a book called America First Retirement Plan. All you got to do is, if you're interested in obtaining this book, just book a meeting with us, a quick call. If you're a current client, just email us at info@cortezwm.com, and you can just request a book, and I'll send it in the mail for you. But yeah, if you're a new client, definitely ask us for this book. We'll send it to you. I'll even sign it, and they're great. It's great. It's a simple read. Should only take you a few hours to read. And great for a flight, great for just a lazy Saturday if you want something to stimulate your mind. But yeah, I wrote it for you. I wrote it for you guys. I'm not making any money off of it. I've actually spent money writing it and designing it. And I just want to get the message out. It's not about making money for me. It's all about being an impact. And so hopefully this podcast, this show, everything that we've done is about being an impact. Speaking of being an impact, one of the hardest things, one of the hardest scriptures is to love your neighbor like yourself. To me, it's difficult. And the other one is husbands, love your wife like Christ loved the church. He knew exactly how hard it was. So I wanted to read this devotion real quick. Whether you realize it or not, you're in the midst of a spiritual battle. Your carnal flesh rages war against your spirit daily. Your flesh desires what is contrary to the spirit, stirring up conflict within you. In addition to your personal inner turmoil, consequences of the fail and repercussions of sin, the enemy seeks to devour your life, to ruin your marriage, and to destroy the testimony of Christ. This is the fight. This is the daily tug of war between choices that determine whose side you are fighting for. It can be easy to be distracted by believing the fight is with your wife. Do not be distracted in believing that winning a fight with your wife or getting her to admit that you're all right is honorable or pleasing in any way to God. In fact, God hates pride because pride keeps you from seeing things God's way. Pride will keep your heart hardened When your heart is hardened, it is more susceptible to give into temptations of the flesh. When you give up and give into your flesh, you sin. Sin is a moral act and a transgression and an offense. Sin is always a choice. Sin is knowing what is good and not doing it. The immediate gratification you are seeking is short-lived. What follows are a series of negative effects, and you're not the only one subject to them. You and your wife are one flesh, which means she is also affected by your poor choices. When you sin, you're choosing to fight against God and against your wife. But God desires you to have self-control over the flesh and walk in the spirit. Anyone who walks in the spirit will honor God and no longer gratifies the desires of the flesh. Be above reproach. Choose to live life with a humble heart, one that is yielded to God. Be on God. Be a man of God, a warrior of honor, fleeing from immorality in the pursuit of righteousness. Be a moral man who others can trust, especially your wife. When you choose to walk in obedience to God, you choose to walk in victory. When you love and cherish your wife unconditionally, you will plant a seed and respect in your wife. You repent of your sins, you will be set free. When you pray without ceasing, you will encounter God's transcending peace. You vow to be a husband, fulfill your commitment by leading your wife into the good fight of faith, by inviting her to pray with you, by meditating on God's word together, by keeping her accountable, and by affirming her in her relationship with the Lord. Spur her on towards righteousness and maturity. Fight along with your wife, never against her. Invite God to be the center of your marriage. Faithfulness to God will make you remain faithful to your wife. Persevere, man of valor, when things get tough or when you lack understanding. Persevere. Do not grow weary in doing good, and you will reap a harvest in your marriage. So the prayer actually goes into, Dear Lord, I desire to walk in the spirit and to honor you with my life and marriage. Forgive me for my sins and teach me to walk in righteousness. Lord, I will no longer allow my pride to get in the way of oneness with my wife. I will stop fighting with my wife and start fighting alongside of my wife, fighting for peace, hope, faith, and righteousness. I pray with my wife. I will meditate on the word with my wife. I will seek your kingdom first with my wife. Lord, be the center of my marriage. Help me persevere and not grow weary of doing good. Help me to keep worshiping you even when things are hard in my life and marriage. Help me to keep loving my wife even when it's hard. In Jesus' name, amen. Guys, that's tough, man. That is really tough. I have failed loving my wife multiple times the way that Christ has called us to love. But it is by his grace. We are redeemed. We are a child of God, and we aren't perfect. So, men, pick up the cross. We have something special. We are a child of God, and we are called to be warriors, and we have to love our wives like Christ loved the church. And anyways, wanted to share that. That was my devotion this morning. I'm reading this book. If you want to follow me with it, it's called A Husband After God. Aaron and Jennifer Smith, they do a really, really good job giving you a little 5-minute devotion every single day. You know, they broke it down for guys like ADHD and they're busy like me. However, I just wanted to share that. That was on my heart today. God bless you guys. Love y'all. And don't forget to like and subscribe our Rumble channel, by the way. Please follow us at Rumble. We're building our baby channel over there. It's called Scriptures in Wall Street. We only have a few hundred followers, and we got big plans for it. So give us a like, follow, and subscribe if you don't mind. If you like our content, if you like our message, we want to help you, not just with your retirement, but obviously with your health and your wealth. And don't forget to check out our awesome peptides at getmeleanusa.com. We've lost a lot of weight on it. People are focusing better. They're getting better sleep, and they're losing a ton of weight and getting in shape. So Get Me Lean USA is a great source for plant-based peptides here in America, that groundbreaking technology that Big Pharma does not want you to have. So go to Get Me Lean USA, get you a pack or two of the Fit and the Lean. I love that stuff. I've been on the Energize as well as the Hydrate and Focus. And if you've noticed, I've been able to stay on track, talk about charts, and not stutter too much like I used to. But anyways, God bless you guys. Support our show. You can go to getmeleanusa.com, get you some peptides. All the proceeds go to cost of this production. So thank you so much for listening to us, and we'll see you on the other side. God bless. You probably clicked this link because you don't trust the stock market. You know that it's manipulated. You know it's rigged for the big banks. You know that you can be financially inoculated with everything that's going on. And the reason why you're here is because you might have some FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Fearful because you don't know what's going on. Uncertainty because there's no one to talk to. And doubtful because there's no plan on what is about to come. But one thing, when it comes to retirement planning, if you don't have a game plan for whatever is about to come, then you are not prepared. It's time for you to protect your money outside of buying gold and silver. This is going to be the best thing because you're protected by contract law. Completely different animal, guys. Again, Carlos Cortez here. Hope I can hear from you. And let's just have a conversation to see if this strategy works for you.